Hello, and welcome back to Shatter Our Souls with Novaria. Now, last time we did tackle the main part of the time trials, that's the word. And today we are tackling primarily the Speedtrap challenges. Partially because I'm not a huge fan. I will, however, say that these ones really up the ante, and it's gonna be a good challenge going forward. Alrighty, so as you can see, we finally got all my cars back up and running to the appropriate level as we're bringing in some new beasties. The black car hasn't been seen for, I believe, 3 full blacklist members. So it's gonna be, it's nice to get a fresh coat of paint. As for the challenge in and of itself, the black Lexus has, well, the Lexus in general has been showing off as a massive boost, actually. Because I've been sticking to the same car virtually the entire time, it's becoming less and less a detriment and easier to control over time, which I think speaks to the quality of the game. Because I went into this expecting that the Lexus was not going to be a very strong vehicle, and while I do stand by the speed traps being absolutely abysmal in certain circumstances, the Lexus has a lot of capabilities that when I had first started this challenge, I didn't think I'd be able to. Wow, okay, hitting the wall twice. I didn't think I'd be able to do or maintain. So that's pretty cool to note. I love hitting or getting the cops caught on something. Anywho, we're about 70% done the race, and it looks like we're in pretty good shape. About 10 miles faster than second place. So as long as nothing major happens, I think we are golden. Okay. Forgive me, I'm a little bit distracted while driving here. So, something that I am not sure if I've talked about or brought up in the past is the fact that I am a gamer. I am a gamer through and through, always have been. But the thing is that I enjoy being able to say, yeah, this is my game, this is the time that I have, and this is what I want to do with it. I like being able to play a game at its base level and say, yeah, I beat the game using everything I needed to do so. And then I turn around and I do stuff like this, where I make things difficult for the sake of making things difficult. That isn't a bad thing. The fact that there is the capability of making a game harder for yourself tells you that the game was developed well. I state this knowing that there are some games that are formulaic in nature. Games that are impossible to make a specified, this is how I want it type of gameplay. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But a game that has those options means that we get more out of it. I'm not saying that every single time you play a game you have to make a new challenge or anything like that. While I think that channels out there like the Backlogs and you name it have a great premise where they're playing games and trying out new ways of conquering what they've been up against, I think is amazing and is entertaining and funny on my end just to see what they can come up with. this is kind of aiming to look a lot like that. Taking a number of games, putting them to some sort of a test, and moving on with it. Now, oh, yes, okay, purple car coming out. It has been a while since I actually did this, so I'm a little, my memory sucks. But the thing is that having those capabilities and being able to showcase more of it is what I want. It's what I'm aiming for. And truth be told, this channel is for one person. Me. I do like the idea of having an audience. I like the idea of people watching these videos and getting the drive to try something themselves, or getting an understanding that maybe they don't want to. My goal for this is it's more of a let's play challenge channel instead of a single video cramming an entire game worth of content into a single video. I'm sorry. I like that mentality sometimes, but cramming 40 hours into, what, 10, 20 minutes is not feasible for a lot of situations. And it kind of irks me a little bit. So that's why I have this set up the way it is, because this acts as not only proof that I have completed a given challenge, but it also acts as a stand of this is what to expect. This is what you'd be walking into trying something similar. Yes! I'm gonna lose the race, aren't I? There's no way of catching up enough to be... Yep, okay. Reset. Attempt number 2 of this race. I think we're gonna be... I think this is the one. But we're always outnumbered and never outgunned. That's the way it's always been. But that's just part and parcel of what we're expecting at this point. Now, because the channel is for me, I made a statement that at no point in time am I going to let the channel come before my health. And I am getting to a point in the near future here where there's going to be a little bit of a conflict of interest. I have to go back to work full time. I've been off for the last 4 months due to health leave. And so it's going to be time for me to go back. And I'll be honest, I am excited and I'm terrified. But with that, I am also probably going to drop my the number of videos I release per week from 4 to 2. This is just because I don't have the capability or the time to make content at a constant rate. And going back to work full time means that my content will either take a huge hit, or I will end up in a situation where I'm just not going to enjoy it. It's just going to be a chore. And the goal of this channel was for it to be fun, a pastime, something for me to work on in my spare time because I could. So, as a result of that, I do apologize in advance that this will be happening. And I hope that those who are watching choose to continue to watch these videos. And here we are with the first of the 2 lap knockout challenges. Once again, bringing out an oldie but a goldie car that I've gotten upgraded again. The orange car I don't believe has shown up in a meaningful capacity since Izzy. Don't quote me on that. But, yeah. So, I wanted to mention something about this particular challenge that I hadn't really considered initially. The first bit of it is that when I had initially attempted to beat the game, my first time ever, straight to the gas station, come on. Yes! My first attempt to beat this game, I ended up getting the, I believe it was the McLaren. And I was so excited about it. Fully upgraded the car. And I couldn't beat another race. And I was questioning why. I argued with myself and my friends about why I suddenly went from being able to demolish my rivals, to not being able to do anything. And so I realized that a challenge like this... Okay, who put the car there? This is a residential area. Why do we have parked cars in the middle of the road? A challenge like this is more difficult with more variety. Using the same car time after time after time will make the challenge easier for that one vehicle. But going through and stopping every so often and using another vehicle would technically make the challenge harder. And that's simply because I have to reacclimate to a new vehicle every time I have to swap cars. This isn't a bad thing, but it is something that is notable about how the game functions, and that while this car is stereotypically given the title of the weakest vehicle in the game, it's also worth noting that it's not the ride, it's the driver. Something that I found came up recently when watching Fate of the Furious is that the vehicle itself was never the problem. It was always who was behind the wheel. Sure, you could have one or even two precision drivers doing everything that they felt comfortable doing, but knowing their cars, knowing the ride inside and out is part of the battle. Knowing how it performs. Which is why going from this to the Lotus Elise would be a huge difference. Not only does the Lotus have slightly higher top speed comparatively, but has the highest handling in the game. The Lotus Elise would absolutely demolish corners in this game. But it comes with the backhand of this car is more likely to lose control throughout the race. I just hit a wall. In the last lap of a lap knockout. Okay. Just gonna recover, keep going, and see what happens. But yeah, so that's kind of a side note piece. It makes me curious whether or not I should do the challenge again in a, shall we say, more restricted format, focusing in on probably the toll booth time trials and the 15 blacklist racers. One showcase for each vehicle. If I get some viewers who are interested in that, I would, speaking of the Lotus, there's one. I'd love to do that. I think it would be an interesting twist to the challenge. But with this, it's the last race of this video, I think. As after this, there's only tackling Jules herself. So I think that's a pretty good sign that that's what we're aiming for. I admit I've always loved this track. It's condensed, it's close, it's got some spectacle moments. It has barricades so that you have to be cognizant of your lane position at all times. But it also has heavy traffic. It has open areas that you can use, hairpin turns, 90-degree angles, you name it. Making this track probably one of the most showboaty tracks there is. If you know what you're doing, you can make this track absolute breeze. If you're coming at this fresh without knowing what you're looking at, it can be quite a daunting task. Alright, so lap 1 is done. Patrick here is hot on my heels, so chances are he's going to be probably the rival of the race. Hans has fallen, or has taken last place, and poor Lars has also taken last place, eliminated from the race. Also, let me just say that the cityscape and how it looks, how it is perceived, is very interesting. Okay, where did the garage go? We just got a clock tower where a garage was. And it's interesting seeing the cracks form. So, one thing about gaming that I'm not sure many people talk about is the fact that every game that it is developed for either for a specific audience, but it is also developed with specific intent. You got in an accident. But the thing is that every single form of media, the more immersive it's aiming to be, the more that can go wrong. If you have a good book, like a really good book, you're going to have people immersed in that story, in that world, in those characters. And the idea behind it is that it's technically the least immersive version of media. There's no higher input. You can imagine your character, the world, the scenery, and show what it is actually coming out of it. But you take that a step further and you turn it into TV. Well, now not only can you see the characters, but you can hear their voices. And that can potentially immerse you in a world. There are people who can get panic attacks from watching a Marvel movie. And I don't say that to be rude. I say that as a statement of immersion. Video games take that much further. Not only are you in the driver's seat of the car, but you're also directly responsible for making sure that you get from A to B. You become immersed and interested in the characters, which makes it harder to perfect. I will be touching up on this next time, but for now I see we're running out of time. If you like what you see or are curious about next time, drop a like, leave subscribe, and catch you next time. Until then, have a good one.